competencies. And as far as I know, the competencies have been reduced into 40%. I think remaining 60% is in the curriculum. So this afternoon, we will be clarified on different ways from which we could be able to address the instructions. This afternoon, we will focus on contextualized learning as one of the approach from which we could be able to deliver the lesson to our students in many different ways or in many different modalities. Okay? So, kumusta sa lahat ng mga viewers dyan sa natin coming from Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, organizing scientific research program. Welcome again to this afternoon session. And we're hoping that everyone would be edified, everyone would learn, and everyone could be able to get some ideas on how you could be able to effectively deliver this particular learning approach in the new normal. Okay, I will share with you my screen. There you go. So first, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Joseph Jacob, and I'm currently serving as educational consultant to different schools in the Philippines. And I'm also the president of the National Science and Engineering Fair, and at the same time, director of the STEM Education Training Hub. In the real world, and in terms of specificity and in terms of speed. So contextual learning strategies in practice. So una, how are we going to apply it? Ano ba yung mga strategies that we could possibly use? Okay, una, we could design with the most relevant approach in mind. So titignan natin. So where are we going to apply the contextual learning strategy? Hindi basta na lang mag-iisip tayo ng different modalities. So we should know our target. We should start with a review of our curriculum. Okay, titignan natin which among these competencies or the standards, for example, is focused on knowledge, which is focused on skills, or which is focused on the cognitive approaches. Yan. So makikita natin yan, titignan natin. So mababasa natin yan sa curriculum guide. And we could be able to tell kung ano yung mga focus natin. Again, depending on the focus, we could easily identify a particular connection that we should utilize as we execute the instruction. For example, pang skills-based pala. Okay? Pang skills-based pala yung competency na to. So therefore, we should be able to find ways from which we could be able to connect the learners, okay, to what they know or what they are exposed to be able to apply their skills. For example, one of the key stage standards in elementary science is for the learners to be able to categorize or group things according to their characteristics. Yung grouping, skill yan. Because skill, kasi they would identify a particular characteristic of a material before they could place it in a particular group. Diba? For example, the activity that can be provided by the learners is to ask the students to be able to organize the things in their bedroom, organize the things in their cabinet. So titingnan nyo rin, you also have to be aware kung meron bang bedroom ang bata, kung may cabinet ba ang bata. Dapat alam natin yan. Kasi sasabihin ng bata, ma'am, wala naman aming bedroom, ma'am, wala naman kaming cabinet. Okay, sige, wag na lang yung bedroom, wag na lang yung cabinet, organize mo yung laman ng bag mo. How are you going to organize that? And why did you organize it that way? So by doing so, we would know the design, okay, in mind na pwede nating magamit. Plus, we must also consider the cognitive approaches. So we make sure that we choose or you choose the strategy that is most appropriate to the learning you wish to impart to your audience. That's why before you execute the learning, I would suggest that you identify what particular okay, that you identify what particular uh, context in mind do you have. Okay, for example, ang skill ba na to or ang competency ba na to pang knowledge ba? If you know beforehand that it is merely focused on the knowledge, you would know the particular strategy or approach that you would use because pang knowledge based lang mo to. Okay? If it's a skill-based competency or a skill-based content, immediately we need to identify, for example, in the second column of the curriculum, pwede tayong maglagay dyan, what particular skills-based activity are you going to use? Okay, for example, in mathematics, no? The skill is for example, measurement. Diba? Measurement. The learners could be able to measure things using measuring tools, kagaya ng mga ruler, protractor, etc. And then the project would be, and then at the side of it, competency, your contextual learning strategy is for them to be able to create a magazine rack. See, so yung mathematics natin parang pang TLE, no? So gagawa siya ng magazine rack, pero the material that will be given to the child is just a piece of long wood. So that is a good strategy. So ang gagawin niya, siya ang magme-measure, siya ang maghihiwa, siya rin ang magdidikit. So the mathematical skills which is measuring can be applied in the actual and real life situation. So again, para hindi tayo manghuhula, this skill-based approach must be identified beforehand. Bago pa lang tayo magsimula ng school year natin this coming August, dapat mga teachers na identify na niya yan sa curriculum. So if you intend to use the reduced competency na provide ng DepEd, dapat nire-review nyo na yan isa-isa para malaman or you could be able to create a design with the most relevant approach in mind. Right? So, dear teachers, we need to influence, if you would like to have an implementation of or full-scale implementation of contextualized learning, we need to see or we need to influence the following. Okay, halimbawa, na-convince na kayo, maganda pala yung contextualized learning approach. Kasi you could be able to establish connection between the context of the lesson into the actual and real life situation where the students are exposed to. So napakaganda. Ang sarap implement. The big question is, paano ko i-implement? Okay, madali lang. Ganito yon. Start with the curriculum, read it, and identify what is being required or being developed by the curriculum. Pasimplihin nyo lang. Knowledge, process or skills, and then anong gustong maunawaan ng mga bata or mga dapat na maunawaan ng mga bata based on the curriculum requirement. At pang-apat, ano ang expected outcome na hinihingi ng curriculum. And based on these four, you could be able to connect the contextual learning approach strategies. Ano bang strategy ko sa pang mga knowledge na competency? Paano ko mako-connect ang mga facts and information in the actual life, di ba? How can I be able to connect, for example, the skills in grammar, di ba, into what they are exposed to? Halimbawa, ang lesson mo sa curriculum is a paragraph considering or applying the rules of SVO, subject, verb, object, agreement. So paano yun? Saan ba sila naka-expose ngayon? Ano bang mga ginagawa nila? Papagawa ba ako ng letter at ipapamail ko? Of course, boring na yan. Perhaps email na lang. Okay na rin, pero mas may advance pa. Pwedeng gagawin ko ay kukuha ko ng learning portal, di ba? Halimbawa, gagamitin ko yung kung ano-ano, Google Meet or Google Classroom, etc. And many other creative ways of doing it. Okay? So pwede nating gawin 'yon. Okay? So sa curriculum pa lang 'yan. Pangalawa, the instruction can be integrated to the curriculum. So, susulat ko. Okay? Parang ganito 'yan. I have this bond paper. Hatiin nyo sa tatlo. Okay. Ayan, stop sharing muna. Tignan nyo muna ako. Okay, simple lang. Meron kayong bond paper. Parang ito yung model nyo, no? Hatiin mo sa tatlo. Yung unang column mo, the curriculum requirement. Diba? At pangalawang column mo, okay, i-identify mo ano ba yung target ng curriculum mo, ng competency. Ano ba to? Pang-knowledge ba to? Pang-process or skill ba to? Pang-understanding ba to? Or pang-learning outcome? And then pangatlo, column, ilagay mo na yung approach mo. Let's say, dito, ilalagay mong approach ay baking a cake. O kaya naman, creating sa lesson mo on measuring, which is a skill. Let's say, measuring dito, which is your competency. And then, it is a skill. And then, ilagay mo naman dito sa third, ano yung contextual learning approach na gagawin mo. In this case, gagawa sila ng magazine rack. Okay? Gagawa sila ng magazine rack at sila ang magme-measure ng mga materials to be used for magazine rack. So, di ba? Ang ganda. So, ganyan lang kasimple. Isang quarter, pwede kayo makagawa ng contextualized learning plan ninyo. Okay? Na pwede nyong maging guide sa isang buong taon. Pwedeng 4 pages lang for the 1 school year. Okay? Mga teachers, huwag kayong magagalit ha. Administrators, pwede niyong pagawa to sa mga teachers. Madali lang to. Pero huwag na masyadong specific. Okay? What matters most is kayang basahin ng teacher ang curriculum, alam niyang identify what is being developed in the curriculum, and the third column, alam niya kung anong strategy, contextual learning strategy, ang pwede niyang magamit. Alright. Next, aside from that, pwede nyo pang dagdagan ng iba't ibang mga columns. Pwede nyo itong gawing 4. Yung pang-4 na column, i-identify nyo na rin yung mga learning support materials na kailangan nyo. Para ngayon pa lang, you could be able to identify your wish list for this coming August. Ma'am, I'm making myself ready sa hamon ng COVID-19. Gusto ko pong gumaling kay na teacher. I want my students to learn even though it's a distance learning approach. I need the following learning support materials, which would comprise the 4th column of your plan. Okay? Pwede yon. Kailangan mo ba ng mga libro? Kailangan mo ba ng mga video link? Etc. Kailangan mo ba ng mga training? Ang 4 na bullet? And etc. At higit sa lahat, dear viewers, ang pinakamahalaga in this learning experience, in the contextualized learning approach, is the community involvement. Okay, because there are cases that or in many cases, especially ngayong pandemic, tuloy-tuloy yung mga lesson natin. Of course, limited ang mga materials sa mga gamit natin. So the greatest allies would we have are the members of the community. Sometimes it's inevitable for us not to use the internet, for example, in a particular area. Okay, just like what is being done by the other LGUs. Okay, we could be able to communicate to them our school requirement. O kaya naman, baka naman yung Glow or PLDT pwedeng bigay ng discounted connection sa mga subscribers ng mga bata, etc. So anything. O kaya naman, there are particular like universities or colleges that are neighbors of your school na pwede silang pumunta ron. They could do some activities there in the school following a certain rules or guidelines, etc. So if we want to be successful in this contextualized learning approach, we need to influence the following, or else our effort will be null and void. Hanggang salita lang yan. Okay, makikita natin if we apply that in the curriculum, instruction, in identifying the learning support materials, if we identify an appropriate training development for our teachers, for example, just like this webinar, and also, wag nating kakalimutan, we need to involve the community. Because I strongly believe that the community helps a lot in the learning process. Sila mag-a-assist sa atin. Let's say, kailangan ng permit, kailangan lumabas, di ba? Or kailangan mag-interact. Let's say, kailangan mag-conduct ng interview, ng survey ng bata. So, kailangan through the adults or kailangan through the barangay tanod, ma-disseminate yung mga checklist na to to the people in the locality. So, we need to get them involved, especially na naka-quarantine tayo halos lahat. So again, please take note of this. Influence the following if you want to be successful in the contextualized learning approach. This is one of the modalities that we could possibly use. Pangalawa, design for effectiveness. Diba? Okay, yung effort natin in implementing ang contextualized learning approach should not be doomed for destruction. That's why we need to establish its destiny. We need to design for effectiveness. We need to identify the activities that, okay, design activities that also teach the procedure, processes, and discipline. So dapat alam na natin to ngayon. Pwede natin itong isulat yung mga references sa curriculum natin on how and when to apply those skills and that knowledge in the given context. So, kitang-kita natin, bago tayo mag-design, bago tayo mag-isip ng iba't ibang mga modalities, okay, isipin natin kung saan naka-fit ang modality na yon. Okay? So, we need to identify where would those modalities fit into the curriculum as we implement them. Again, we have the curriculum. We need to identify what is being asked by the curriculum. Knowledge ba to? Process skills, understanding, or products and performance ba to? Then, pangatlong column, mag-identify tayo ng mga strategies. Pang-apat na column, let's identify the materials. And by doing so, our targets are clear. Diba? Halimbawa, nag-request ka ng material, no? So, kitang-kita mo sa letter na pinapadala mo kay Mayor that without this material, for example, without the internet connection, for example, we cannot be able to execute this particular skill. Without this interactive toy, we cannot be able to demonstrate this skill using online approach. So, ganon. So, this would make it more convincing because it is aligned to the curriculum requirement. That's how we design approaches for effectiveness. Next, let us design activities and approaches, okay, for transference. Medyo malalim, no? Okay? So let's simplify this meaning. Its meaning. So it means that learners need to be able to transfer their skills, knowledge, and experiences to the environment. Okay? So, ano bang ibig sabihin nito? Right. Activities or a particular strategy, we need to make sure that the students could be able to transfer their learnings in the actual and real life situation. Dear audience, this is the trust of the Department of Education. This is the reason why the, the products and performances or the performance tasks play a big chunk of percentage in the grading system. Some subjects have 40%, others have 50%. I think sa English, 50%. I think math and science, 40%. Sa TLE, 60% ang mga performance tasks. Bakit? Kasi gusto, okay, gusto ng ating Department of Education na makita kung saan ina-apply ng bata ang kanyang mga natututunan. So as we all know, we have already been applying the contextualized approach from the very beginning of the K-12 program. We are just reviewing. Okay? So, much greater transfer of knowledge take place when information is organized in a conceptual framework. So everyone, so dapat ito yung tututukan natin. For example, mga head teachers, supervisors, school heads, school principals, and directors. We need to ensure that there are opportunities. Ngayon, distance learning tayo. So dapat meron pa ring opportunities ang mga bata from which they could be able to have the opportunity to transfer their skills and knowledge, okay, in a certain situation. So kailangan natin yan. Next, another consideration that we need to have in contextualized learning is design the social consciousness. So as we all know, yung learning, yung in-implement natin, for example, yung K-12 program, learning could be done in a different way or in different ways. It could be in the teacher-guided, it could be in group, and it could be in individual. So, ang gustong-gusto natin talaga ay magkaroon ang mga bata ng social interaction. So ngayon, medyo mahirap yung physical interaction, but still they could do social interaction in many creative ways that you could possibly think of. Diba? So pwede yon. In many possible ways that you could think of. So hindi ko sinasara yung mundo na kailangan online lang. Online lang. Kung kailangan na pwedeng magpa-LBC or kailangan na ganito or etc. Huwag natin isara ang isip natin sa online lang. Ang distance learning could be done in many different ways, hindi lang through internet. Diba? Pwedeng calls, pwedeng through module, pwedeng through papel, pwedeng through worksheets, etc. So again, challenge to kasi magdi-design tayo ng mga activities na gusto natin na merong social interaction. Wala nga lang physical contact. Bakit? Hindi pwedeng wala. Hindi tayo pwedeng walang mga social activities sa mga bata. Bakit? Ito yung trust din ng Department of Education. Okay? Which is under the 21st century skills. Okay? It is the trust of the Department of Education and many countries all throughout the world to be able to develop the skills in communication, di ba? Communication skills, kailangan yan. O, kapag wala mga social interaction, kanino sila makikipag-communicate sa sarili nila? Okay? Or sa teacher lang ba? So dapat meron pa rin mga ganong interaction or opportunities to be able to work with the group or other students as well. Pero eto, lalo-lalo na naka-distance tayo, kailangan alam natin yung mga background ng mga bata. We need to know their social background, including culture and norms. Or else, instead na makatulong, baka maging disaster. Ang ating approach. So, kailangan maayos yung configuration natin. Okay? May mga bata kasi na ayaw nakapartner yung mga boys. May mga boys na ayaw na may girls. So, we need to know, pwede tayong magkaroon ng survey or kilalanin natin sila kung ano ba yung approach na gusto nila or the approach that is the group approach that is most or more appropriate to them. So remember, we could create a better context for learning to be able, okay, for the learning to be transferred more effectively. If the social consciousness or if social background or social factor could be a hindrance to learning, wag na. Kaya since we encourage this collaboration or collaboration skills based on the 21st century skills, um, ayusin natin ang pag-design ng ating mga groups. Right? May papakita ko sa inyo maganda. Merong mga iba't ibang types ng groupings. Tignan nyo na lang kung alin yung pinaka-appropriate sa inyong mga students. Okay? Lalo na ngayong pandemic. Okay. So una, pwedeng teacher-assigned group. Alright? Pwedeng student choose groups. Or pwedeng randomized group work. So pwede to. At eto marami itong mga klase. Sobrang daming examples nito. At screenshot nyo na lang, dito nyo sila matatagpuan sa teachhub.com. So there are 30 ways, I think, for example, merong 10 examples on which you could be able to create different groupings. Yan, check this link, www.teachhub.com. 30 ways to arrange students group work. Dear teachers, this is very inevitable. Okay? We really have, our creativity is being tested nowadays talaga. My gosh, we need to satisfy the 21st century skills without the physical contact. So, paano yun? So, eto, perhaps makakatulong to in identifying or creating group for various contextualized learning activities. Alright? Panglima, consideration, design iteratively. So meaning, we could start with the immediate focus on the broad contextualized learning activities that learners need to perform as part of their daily work or routine. So pwede nating i-identify yun kung ano ba talaga. And then in doing so, we have to be very, very specific. Next is you can build a supporting contextual learning activities that focus on the basic skills and knowledge to be able to carry out those broad activities. May maganda akong example nito mamaya. And then this approach is repeated in several iterations. Okay. In designing activities, they need to understand a big picture. Big picture of this cake. Okay. Perhaps all of you are hungry now at pwede niyo siyang orderin online. Okay, this is Mango Bravo. Perhaps nagugutom na kayo. Merienda time na. The big picture, for example, of the task is the learners could be able to create cake. That's the big task. Gagawa ko ng cake. But when you say that to the students, it's very overwhelming, di ba? Okay, ngayon, i-identify mo naman yung needs ng bata. Sabi ng curriculum, gumawa ng cake. Ang tanong, anong cake? Cake para saan? So ngayon, since we are contextualizing learning, pwede mong tanongin yung bata, ano ang paborito mong okasyon or paboritong holiday sa Pilipinas? Ang sagot niya, for example, Ma'am, ako po araw ng kagitingan. Ako araw ng mga bayani. Diba? Ako naman po gusto ko Christmas. O kaya naman, ako naman gusto ko Halloween. Okay. Ngayon, magde-design kayo ng cake or gagawa kayo ng cake based on your favorite occasion. So halimbawa, yung group mo ay napili. Okay, pag ganun kasi, dear teachers, if you ask the students, mas magiging meaningful ang activity. I remember one of my professors in PNU, si Dr. Concepcion, sabi niya, in terms of strategies, I want you to devote one day or one lesson to be able to plan with your students. Plan the activities with your students. At first, we were thinking that it was a crazy idea. Sabi namin, what? Mga bata magpaplano with us ng strategy? And I did that when I was teaching. I involved my students and the result was fun. So one of the suggestions they made was, magklase kami sa hagdanan. when I was teaching them different types or characteristics of rocks. So after going to the garden and they got their rock samples, they sat on the hagdanan. Sabi nila, "Sir, di ba ang ganda ng view mo? Para kaming nasa auditorium." So they enjoyed. They participated actively because they like what they were doing. Okay? And the curriculum standards were not compromised. Huh? So pwede nating tanungin yung mga bata. So this is the big picture. Sabi ng curriculum, gagawa kayo ng cake. Anong klaseng cake? Let them identify the kind of cake. Then pag-identify na lang nila, go to the specific. Gagawa sila ng chiffon cake, for example, wherein they could apply the skills in mixing, in measuring, etc. Then designing the cake, paggawa ng icing, and etc. Meron pa. Cake for special occasion, at kanino mo bibigay ang cake? Pag sinabi niya, for example, "Sir, ibibigay ko po yung cake ko sa mga senior citizen organization." So therefore, that would affect the design of cake, di ba? May significance sa buhay niya kasi senior, nabubuhay siya sa senior, di ba? Nakatira siya sa lolo't lola niya. At with that, merong application sa buhay niya kasi alam niya yung characteristics ng lolo't lola niya. Na hindi pwede yung sobrang alat, hindi pwede yung sobrang tamis kasi matataas na yung mga blood pressure nila. So, ma'am or sir, I will be designing a cake na that is sugar-free so that the senior citizens will be able to taste it without harming or posing harm to their health. Di ba ang ganda? So kapag pinagawa niyo yan, dear teachers sa mga bata, if you contextualize the lesson or if you establish the activities or create activities that have relevance into their lives, mamahalin kayo ng mga bata because they will never forget this contextualized lesson approach that you created for them. Okay? So we cannot be able to find these approaches in the book, but I'm telling you, you could create them. Diba? You could create them because you are the ones who know and understand your students. You know them, you know their background, you know what they're thinking about, and that's why you're the teacher. Okay? Their background would serve as your guide in identify instructional strategies, appropriate instructional strategies for them. Okay. 6, design for groups, right? So the most successful contextual learning strategies are those that are designed with groups of learners. I want to strengthen what I have said regarding the 21st century skills, as opposed to focusing on individual learners. Okay din naman yung one-on-one. Pero maganda na meron silang opportunities to be able to mingle with others. Okay, again, sa situation natin ngayon, they could mingle with others without the physical contact. So that's because in the real world, learners must interact with fellow workers, for example, di ba? Kasi sayang yung skill na madedevelop nila ngayong panahon na to if we would stop them from interacting with one another. Kasi sabi nga, no man is an island. They cannot get away with the social interaction. In the future, they would be interacting with fellow workers, business partners, supervisors, management teams, and etc. That's why dinidikdik ng Department of Education ang collaboration skills. Diba? Tuturuan natin yung mga bata to collaborate in many different ways. And last, design assessments appropriately. Yes, ginagawa natin to iba't ibang mga activities, iba't ibang mga modalities na to, but all these efforts will be null and void kung we cannot be able to measure it. So therefore, it's very important to design assessments properly. Okay? Kapag pinapagawa natin sila ng mga tasks, I would suggest na ibigay nyo na sa kanila kagad ang mga determinants. Give them the rubrics. Okay, others kasi binibigay yung rubrics at they evaluate. No, that's a mistake. You tell them what the standards are, and these standards would serve as their guide as they create projects, as they design products. Okay? Ganun po. As they apply their skills. Kasi kung walang standard, of course, we will be in chaos. Para tayong mga manok na pinutulan ng leeg. Ba nakakita na kayo? Ang manok, kapag tinaga mo yung leeg, tapos nakawala, tatakbo siya ng tatakbo, di ba? Pero anong difference sa may ulo? Tatakbo siya ng walang direction. So therefore, in order to establish a direction, make sure that kakambal, twinning yung iyong uh, activity design to the assessment design. So when designing your contextualized approach to learning, you should evaluate learners based on the authentic assessment. Okay? Instead of measuring their command of remembering or blindly performing specific activities. So I do hope that you could be able to have a full grasp of it. So this is the real score on how we could be able to do the contextualized approach. Ito yung actual content ng approach na to. So sabi, gusto ko yung sinabi ni John Mueller, professor of psychology. Sabi niya, authentic assessments, ito kanina ko pa ito binabanggit. Kailangan kasi natin ng mga authentic tasks or authentic assessment para may paglagyan or paggamitan ang mga skills, knowledge, and understanding ng mga bata. Kung wala kang mga authentic tasks or authentic assessment, ang knowledge ay mananatiling stand-alone knowledge or stand-alone skills. At makakalimutan niya na yan. Aaralin niya lang yan kasi magbibigay ka ng exam. Kailangan niyang pumasa. Pag bumagsak siya, mawawala siya ng baon. Or mababawasan yung baon niya. Okay? But without meaning. The knowledge, the process, skills, or understanding would have its deeper meaning as applied into the authentic assessment. Right? Okay. So sabi niya, authentic assessment as okay, he defined authentic assessment as assessments where learners are required to show their command of what they learned. Diba? Dati kasi paper and pencil, satisfied na tayo. Pero ngayon hindi. They have to demonstrate what they have learned. They should put the learning, okay, into actual context, diba? Or actual scenario. By applying that knowledge and those skills, saan? To the real world task. Alright, real world task ang kailangan natin. Yan yung mga authentic tasks na binabanggit natin sa mga training natin ng K-12 program. Let us have a sort of review on the student literacy. If you could be able to see my screen, tignan natin dito. Okay, this is the student literacy, itong big picture. Sa loob niyan, okay, dito siya natututo. Ito yung mga kaalaman niya. Nandito sa loob yung kanyang skill, yung kanyang knowledge, etc. So, sa loob din niya ng literacy, nandiyan dyan yung iba't ibang klaseng assessment. For example, the traditional testing, okay, and the performance assessment. It should jive with the performance assessment. Of course, we still have the traditional testing. All right? Okay, so traditional testing helps us answer the question, do you know it? Diba? Alam mo ba yon? And the performance assessment helps us answer the question, how well can you use what you know? Or what would you do with the things that you know? Okay, alam mo yan. So, paano mo i-apply? Diba? So, kung napanood nyo, if you have watched the movie, The Three Idiots, diba? So, later on in their life, naging successful sila pareho. Pero, mas naging successful yung isa. Okay, yung character doon, okay, that are good in applying practically the things that he has learned. Ha? At kapag kayang i-apply yung mga natutunan natin, of course, this is a more lasting knowledge. Okay, so what is the balance now? Anong balance ngayon? Look at the fulcrum, di ba? Do you know it? Kailangan nakabalance siya. Can you use it? Di ba? Alam mo? Alam mo ba kung paano mo gamitin? Alright. Alam mo how it functions, but do you know how to use it? Diba? Yes. Alam mo ang 5 ways to identify whether the fish is fresh or not. Tignan ang kaliskis, tignan ang hasang, tignan ang mata, pindutin ang katawan kung matigas o malambot, at panglima ay amuyin. Yes, kaya mong i-enumerate yan. Pero, pag pinapunta ka ng nanay mo sa palengke, kaya mo bang magbitbit o makapila ng sariwang isda na kakainin nyo? Alright. So, you know it, you know how to enumerate the characteristics of the fresh fish, pero kaya mo bang bumili ng sariwang isda at dalhin sa bahay nyo at lutuin? So therefore, tignan natin yung mga skills under it. You recall, identify, list, and match. Dear principals, pag nag-check kayo ng mga test paper ng mga teachers, tignan nyo kung umiikot lang ang mga tanong nila dito. Kasi pag umiikot lang, knowledge-based ang school nyo. They are not assessing what is supposed to be assessed. Okay? Ito ang hanapin nyo. Try to identify whether there are opportunities from which the learners could be able to classify, compare, analyze, evaluate. Diba? So yon ang titignan natin in terms of instruction and in terms of assessment. Alright? Malinaw po ba? Okay. Next, I'm going to show you some samples of the performance tasks at different levels. May pang high school, may pang elementary, at meron din pang kindergarten. For sure, may mga nanonood dito ng mga preschool teachers. Gumawa ako ng topic dito na graphs. Graph. Okay, may mga linya-linya. For high school, halimbawa, the lesson is all about graph. Okay, you could be able to provide students with a copy of speeding ticket, okay, that shows how the fine is determined. Or ticket ng MMDA, or pwede kayo mag-download ticket ng Amerika kung anong gusto niya. And then you could say to the students, how is the fine for speeding in our country determined? Ganda, di ba? Or in your locality determined. Or in EDSA determined. Or in Pasong Tamo determined. Or in Davao determined. It's up to you. Or in Bacolod determined. Sa Davao, nako, matindi speed limit dyan. 30 lang or 40. Okay. Then make a paragraph that show drivers in our town how much it will cost them if they are caught speeding. O, diba? Ang ganda. So gagawa sila ng graph at pwede lang i-share sa mga TODA. Halimbawa sa mga paradahan ng mga jeep, paradahan ng mga UV Express, yan, doon sila gagawa ng graph. So ang ganda, di ba? There's a community involvement ng lesson mong graph. So that serves as a warning. And then at the same time, application din ng learning ng mga bata. Okay. Next. Elementary naman, graph pa rin ang lesson. So in this case, in this scenario, may mga dumadaan sa intersection na malapit sa school. You could say to the students, the police department is considering a traffic light or a crossing guard at yung guard na mga nagsasayaw-sayaw sa mga crossing. Okay? Crossing guard at the intersection near your school. Naku, maglalagay ng traffic light. At ang gagawin mo is, Your help is needed to make graphs that show how many vehicles go through that intersection at certain times of the day. O, di ba? Research na to. Monday, Tuesday, morning, afternoon, evening. So excellent graphs will be sent to the chief of police to serve as their guide. Di ba? So ang ganda. That's why I informed you before that community involvement is very important. Okay? To realize or to apply uh, this this approach. Diba? Hindi makakayanan ng school lang to. Yung contextualized learning approach, okay, and different modalities, kailangan ng involvement ng iba't ibang mga tao. Okay? In this case, kitang-kita nyo, di ba? Okay? Involved yung una, involved dito yung mga drivers. Next naman, involved dito yung chief of police. Tignan naman natin sa primary school. Alright. In view of the class, place 10 caterpillars in a box. Place a flashlight at one end, and while darkening the other by folding over the box top. Then, tanungin niyo sila, do caterpillars move more to the light or more to the dark? Make a graph that shows how many caterpillars move to the light and how many move to the dark part of the box. Your graphs will be displayed at open house. O di ba, ang ganda mga pambata, doon kukulayan nila, lalagyan nila ng mga design, mga ribbon, mga flowers, or actual drawing of the caterpillar. So that's gonna be fun. Okay, so I would suggest that you should start designing activities like this as you apply the contextualized learning. So ngayon, may naka-release na tayo ng curriculum, di ba? Meron kayong choice, i-adapt nyo yun kung marami pa kayong oras or time na magturo sa mga bata or masyadong advanced yung mga bata, you could utilize the curriculum guide in a full scale, right? So what can we do to implement contextual learning? So we could create learning environment that support contextual learning classroom, all right? Pwedeng classroom, pwedeng laboratory, pwedeng lab, or even a work site. So marami kong mga inikutan ng mga schools, talagang meron silang parang model na para talaga siyang work site. Sa Angelico, meron silang parang hotel talaga, di ba? Tsaka yung mga ibang school na pinuntahan ko, meron talaga silang hotel na room na pwedeng i-arrange ng bata and they could be able to experience the actual scenario. So, and then incorporate many different forms of experience in working toward the desired learning outcomes. So, marami yan. So, the basic thing that we need to know is students discover meaningful relationships between abstract ideas, and practical applications in the context of the real world. So I'm hoping na marami po tayong mga natutunan ngayong araw na to. And I'm also hoping that we could be able to utilize all these learnings in our school. Okay, kung magtatayo kayo ng school, pwede nyo gawin. Or if you're a teacher, you could be able to start applying it as a part of your lesson preparation. So we need to make sure that all the concepts being learned by the students, hindi lang puro abstract. That the concepts are internalized through the process of discovering, reinforcing, and relating. Okay. So that's all for this afternoon session. For more information, you can follow me on the following. And may mga emails ako rito. We also conduct training at the STEM Education Training Hub. So we do have science fairs, we have emails here, and etc. So you could connect with me, or I could somehow do some webinars for your school like this. If you want to expand our discussion on contextualized learning approach. So we are hoping that you could be able to gloriously apply these contextualized learning modalities in your school. So I cannot be able to specifically identify a particular modality appropriate for your school because data that you gather about your students. So I would suggest that as of now, sana nakapag-gather na kayo ng data about your students. Okay? Meron ba silang connectivity? Wala? Mag-enroll ba sila o hindi? Ilan ang pwedeng mag-enroll sa room and etc. Anong ginagawa? Anong interest nila and etc. Kasi kapag malalaman na natin to beforehand, it would be an advantage for all of you guys to be able to plan out your curriculum, plan out your instructions, especially if you're convinced, for example, that, this year I'm going to use the contextualized learning approach. We will use it different modalities as our instructional approach. So pag ganyan, so dapat we know where we are heading to by knowing the student background or the learner background. And also by having an inventory of our personal resources within the school context or within the school community. Right? So, um, in closing, uh, I would like to read this to you, or leave it to you, that the great aim of education is not knowledge, but action. Diba? So, hayaan natin na gamitin ng mga bata yung kanilang mga knowledge, learnings, again, for their benefit of the society, for the benefit of the family, for the benefit of mankind, or for the universe, rather. All right? So, we're hoping that you have a wonderful learning experience. So you could still connect with me. I have a Facebook page. Pwede akong i-message if you have some questions. Because I cannot be able to interact with all of you, with all of your questions. So you could send me some questions and clarifications. And we are hoping to be able to see you in our next webinar. So this coming Friday, I would have my third webinar uh, in an Invival group. I will be talking about the curriculum solely on how we could be able to, dati unpacking, ngayon repacking ang pag-uusapan natin ng curriculum. And I hope to see you at 2 o'clock this coming Friday for another webinar sessions. Okay, goodbye.